your name?
What's up?
What's your name?
Xavier.
Xavier what?
What do I think about last?
Because, my man, if you don't cooperate, I'm going to put you in handcuffs.
Are we going to get you?
Well, let something crazy happen. 55-50.
Hey! No! No, shit! Get back! No! Dang, please stop!
Need help!
What's happening? First and foremost, the white guy with the white shirt on and the tie and the slacks, he's a hero. He put his life on the line. So I'm gonna get that out there first. The cop, I'm glad you didn't get hurt. The reason I titled it about the racial aspect is because this would have never happened if the kid was black. Never happened. They would have, he might have been in cuffs already, or they might have patted him down already, but he would have never. But just the part where the kid sneakily reaches back into his pocket, it's like, yo, like a cop wouldn't have let that slide with a black person. No, what you doing? No, cop's gun would have been drawn. Truth be told, if that kid was black, he'd have unloaded that whole clip in him. But this is part of the conversation about, how the law is color coordinated, and how the enforcement of it is color coordinated. And when it comes to like police brutality and police interactions, this is the underlying problem, because this is that of the race issue. Because what it looks like sometimes is you have police officers and judges, and lawyers who let the white community off the hook. And they know they're letting the white community off the hook. So then when you get to the black community, it's like, let's go double hard, slap the white guy on the wrist, break the black guy's arm. That balances the universe type of. That's how it comes off at times. And it becomes a problem because of social media. Because social media has shown the different types of enforcement when you change the color. Like, let me say something in this way. And I'm gonna use other examples. If you're a different race, or you're a higher class, or your family has connections, usually you're gonna have less issues. I bring that up because I remember when George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin, they had brought up his past and him assaulting an officer, and nobody really brought up if you assaulted a police officer, how did you get a gun after that? Like, isn't that like that's a felony, right? Like, but it's like there's a judge, nobody questions it, right? The Kyle Rittenhouse thing, that was social media thing, and that's an anomaly, but the anomaly of it, of what was done overtly, was a synopsis for what people think happens, which means when the judge was basically helping the defendant win his case, and that it's like change the justice is color coordinated. You change the color, you change the amount of animosity, right? Who was that? I missed, but and that played out in social media also. When you had, like, you have the people in jail and they'll be on either the video call or they'll be on the phone and the calls are recorded. I remember the one with the white girl. I didn't know if she was white or Cuban, but she was like, she's not going to get in trouble because she's white, she's blonde hair, she could cry a little bit and she's going to get a slap on the wrist. And the judge saw that. Was like, oh no, we ain't doing that. And I remember there was another one of a white guy basically saying the same thing. And I'm white, I got blonde hair, I come from a good family, they're not going to do anything. And they just heard that. And it's like, oh, okay, this is what we on. And that's part of this whole issue. You know what I mean? Like you've seen the videos of of white people basically, go get a traffic stop, basically go to their car and get a gun when white cops like, don't do it, don't do it. And they just turn around and start shooting. And it's like, you let them go in the car, you let them pull out the gun, you let them turn it. It's crazy. And they used to always like have those shows, the police brutality shows, where normally the white officers just go overboard and they shoot a black character, really on some frivolous stuff. But then it's like, oh my God, what's the big deal? The good shoot thing, just like the young man that got killed. Was that Arizona? Recently, it was a Hispanic family. Somebody broke in their house. They called the police. They subdued the guy who broke in their house. They told the police that they had subdued the guy. And the guy they walk to the door because they had the door open, and he shoots the guy that's holding the guy that broke in that house. So he's trying to make sure this guy gets arrested, and he shoots him. And then another cop goes, well, I mean, you don't know what went on. It's a good shoot. And it's like, it's color coordinated. It's color coordinated because we see how you're not so trigger happy when you change when it's straight white. We see that, and it happens over and over and over and over again. And like I said, even with lawyers, that's the thing where people feel like, lawyer ain't really gonna fight for me. I could pay the lawyer, but are they gonna actually fight for me? I don't know. Because sometimes their defense is color coordinated. The money's green, but they don't mean they'll fully do their job. Then how can I say this? Same thing with the judging. Like the most egregious one I can remember. And I forgot what state this court was in, but they were doing basically a point system. Your crimes and stuff added up in points, and they had it like the same courtroom, the same judge, white guy, black guy, basically the same crime, the same amount of points. White guy got like 3-4 years, the black guy got like 15-20. Same exact thing, and it's like, And then people go, well, black people get longer sentence for the same crime, but it's the same issue as this situation with this kid that's the shoplifter. And I bring it up because sometimes people go, well, I'll say that white people get away with more crime, and the reality of it is because of all the chances you get that you give them to overlook their crime or criminality or even violence. You know what I mean? It's crazy because it's like, it's not a big deal. I remember when I was young and wild. It's like, okay. And social media can keep regurgitating that. And sometimes people talk about movies and music of the black community, but what they don't talk about is like depictions of the white community's criminality. You get a lot of that in television shows, movies, depict just other depictions where they could be young in high school just being a demon, but always getting away with it. You know what I'm saying? They could be grown men, just criminals. You could be criminals for years, a lifelong criminal, right? And not really pay any substantial consequence for it. So the getting off um, with a slap on the wrist is looked at as a thing that's their community's thing. Kind of like with this young dude. If the family got money, they're gonna get a lawyer to go, well, he has mental issues, blah 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 blah, and can we bump the attempted murder down to just assault, because he didn't really assault the officer with a deadly weapon because the weapon never fired per se. And that technicality, I hate to say this, but even in the stereotype of saying it that way, that technicality from a white lawyer with a with a white client, with a white judge, with a white, predominantly white police department and white jury, that can go, he's a young man. We don't want to ruin his life. It's like, yeah, yeah. If it was a black kid, let's throw that book. Let's throw that book. And, you know, it shows that this behavior is consistent and continues. And because it's consistent and it continues, and because people are so comfortable, like this young kid was so comfortable in his movements and the way he was doing stuff, that's like, yeah, because the consequences aren't actually heavy, But that's just my 2 cents. Tell me what you think. Catch you on the next one. Peace.